Oba of Lagos does not wear earring, but I'm wearing earring. I say I'm Kábíyèsí.
Good day everyone, my name is Kehinde Eunice and I'm a master student of Nottingham Trent University, Confetti, studying content creation. And here we have with me today a popular Nigerian content creator called Kábíyèsí. Good afternoon, Kábíyèsí. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, Kenny. Good afternoon. How are you doing also?
Yeah, I'm very fine. It's nice having you here. Thanks for coming around for the interview. I really appreciate the fact that I called and it's an honor having you for this interview. I have a couple of questions for you, Kábíyèsí.
Okay.
So you're popularly known as Kábíyèsí. Why did you choose to be called Kábíyèsí? And what would you say is the meaning behind that term?
Thank you so much for the question. I would say that it started from the content that I did with Cracks TV. So that was like the first content I did that blew up. And the name just came. I wouldn't even say that this is the reason why I chose it. It happened, and from there, it has just been what it is. Generically, Kábíyèsí means ruler of a kingdom. And I would say that the reason why mine is different in a way is just some people call me 21st century Kábíyèsí. So, Gen Z basically, they are not so into the traditional way. So, my Kábíyèsí or my kingdom or me being Kábíyèsí is just finding the gap or bridging the gap between the traditional way and the Gen Z way. So I would say that it's like a smooth transition between Gen Z and the old, like the traditional way. So I'm the Kábíyèsí of the Gen Z in a way. So more like 21st century Kábíyèsí. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. Thank you very much. That's actually very, very nice. So you're the Kábíyèsí of this new generation,
Exactly.
which is actually very nice. And it's obvious that you are trying to draw them close to their cultural heritage. One thing you're also known for is the fact that you play with words creatively, both with the use of English language and Yoruba language. How would you say this act of yours can help in preserving our cultural linguistics?
All right. So I would say that one thing I would never want us to forget basically is the culture. And I know that sometimes, if you're based on the newer generation, which I'm part of, if we're explaining tradition to us, we can't feel like we are far from it, we're far from the root. So that's the reason why I can't find a way to find like a perfect blend with what's it called. So my content is not Yoruba throughout. We can't find a way to merge both Yoruba and English together. That way we know that, okay, this guy is a Yoruba guy, but this way we can still also reach out to every other, audience, let's say like Igbo, Efik, Hausa, and every other person from different tribes. So we can find a way to balance it up. So with the Yoruba that I speak, with the way that I'm dressed, because you would never see me running any content without my regalia, my attire. So that way you know that, okay, this guy is still trying to retain the culture. So I'm just trying to find a way where we know that, okay, while I try to create content for the gens, because you would hardly see creators this day dressing this attire. Most times we all just wear what we want to wear, which is fine. We're just trying to find a way to make sure that, okay, we preserve this culture by putting Yoruba, like the words, the puns into my content, and at the same way still trying to find a way to make sure that every other part of, say, the country or the nation still can understand or resonate with this content.
Wow, thank you very much for that. So you actually mentioned a whole lot of things, and that would lead to a couple of more questions I'll be asking. You mentioned your regalia. Okay. Yeah, that's true. You are always wearing your cultural. Most times while you do your content, you're always wearing one cultural attire or the other. What majorly motivates you to do this? I know you mentioned something quite similar. And how do you think Nigerians can also promote their culture, like just a normal person can promote their culture with the way they dress?
All right, I would say that it's the 21st century, and it's like a new world. I want a place where even if you don't even have to wear you don't even have to wear a full Yoruba attire. You should be able to find a way to blend it with it. Something that I'm known for is my cap. Let's say I'm just rushing out of the house and I'm not properly dressed in maybe like in my regalia or something. You'll probably see me wearing this the native cap. I'm just trying to find a way where even if I'm wearing Ote, even if I'm doing like the new Gen Z way, I'm doing like a new trend fashion, I still find a way to just make sure that, okay, I retain. I would say that I'm a man of culture. Do you understand? So I still find a way to make sure that okay, I still retain this cultural presence, and that's the reason why in not just most of my content, all of my content, you would find one thing that has to do with what's it called, culture, or yes, basically like the culture and the tradition in it.
Wow, that's actually good. All of your content, basically. So you try as much as possible to infuse a little bit. It might not just be the entirety of it. You
Exactly,
still always
exactly.
try to put a touch of culture into your
Into it.
content. So that would also lead to another question based on
Okay.
some other things you've said earlier. You said that you are the Kábíyèsí of the Gen Zs. Would you say that the Gen Zs are just your target audience, or who are your target audience basically?
My content cut across all demographic, like the age, the people, and every other person. But the people where I would say that those that kind of like resonate more with my content are the Gen Zs. And Gen Zs do not mean that they are 12 or 13. I'm 20 something years of age, and I'm also a Gen Z. Do you understand? So I think it probably started from say 1997, and anybody born 1997 now is probably 27 years old if I'm correct. So I would say that my content resonate more with the newer generation. But I'm sure that even when I go out, when I meet the villagers, I don't call them fans. When I meet like the villagers, we will still see people that are even like older than I am, people that are like elderly age that still kind of like resonates with me, like Kábíyèsí, we like what you do and stuff. So I would say that it got across all what's it called, demography, but at the same time, the newer generation are the ones that enjoy my content the most.
Wow, that's actually very good. So apparently, you have not just Gen Zs as your target audience. Anybody that can resonate with your content, they are welcome. That's
Exactly.
good. So apart from being a content creator, we know that you are also a cinematographer,
Oh, you
which
do?
is actually good. You're a creative. I would like to ask, how can creatives, in general, try to blend technological advancement into preserving the Nigerian culture or the African culture?
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so one thing that I do is this for content. If you'd see if I do like different kind of content, but if you'd watch say the ones that I do on the street, I add it's something that I'm always conscious about. The song that I use underneath, like my words can be English, the points I decide to use the particular content can be what's it called? Can be like the recent words, but the sound that I would use under I can't like use old music. At the same time, what I'm trying to say that what I'm trying to what's it called put out content, I'm still retaining. Like I said, I'm a culture man. I'm a cultural man. I'm a man of culture. So I'm still trying to retain what's it called the tradition and the culture with it. So if people want to what's it called retain this culture even with content creation, there's just like different ways you can. It could be like your background. It could be say like the setup. Basically, you don't have to wear leave. It's not. This is not the Stone Age. You don't need to wear leave. You don't need to. Yes, it could just be the background, how you set it up. It could just be the words you would say. It could be the outfit you put on. It could just be like accessories that you add to it. Like I mean, Oba of Lagos does not wear earring, but I'm wearing a ring. I say I'm Kábíyèsí. I'm wearing ring. Do you understand? I'm still finding a way to blend both like the 21st century way and the traditional way, so that we can just like have like a perfect mix. So I would say that if you want to find a way to put like this, the whole cultural element into your content, it could just be like from the music, it could be from the sound, it could be from the setup of what's it called, or maybe the studio, whatever it is you're shooting, maybe the outfit or the words you would say. Just finding like little what's it called pieces put together. I'm sure that way would still be able, like when people get to watch this content like 10 years or 15 years, they will know that okay, I can feel or I can sense a bit of tradition into it.
Thank you very much for that. That's actually a very good one. While you were speaking, you said something about or that you are still trying to navigate around infusing this cultural heritage or infusing a level of culture into your content. What would you say are some of the challenges you've encountered since you started content creation? How has the journey been?
I would say that I wouldn't say that it has been easy, but I mean at the time when I started creating content, the kind of content that I create we have like a few people doing it. And aside that, the fact that I'm able to put what's it called, the fact that I'm just able to do this differently, the fact that I'm able to do this differently, put what's it called, be like a traditional man in a way with the 21st century content. It's kind of like hard starting because people would be like, okay, what if your audience are not Yoruba? What if I'm Igbo? How would I be able to enjoy your content? What if I'm Hausa? But we still kind of like find a way to make sure that, okay, the outfit can speak Yoruba man, but the words, when you get to hear the words, that's why most times when you see my content, even when I say words that are heavy, like maybe like Yoruba words, I kind of like make sure that I still transcribe it. You will still see like the caption, like the subtitle kind of in it, just so that every other person would be able to like what's it called, understand. I would say that that's not been easy, because finding like a balance with what's it called, trying not to deviate totally into creating like a Yoruba content, and trying also not to make sure that I'm doing like majorly English content. But I would say that it has not been easy, but it's been great. People are adapting into this new wave of content. I would say that since I've started, I would say that I've seen like 2 or 3 creators that have also, I know a particular guy, I can't remember his name now, that when he goes out to do content, he wears Yoruba attire. And I would say that, I wouldn't say that maybe he started seeing it from, because obviously I'm not the only one that wear, Mr. Macaroni also, like when he creates that content, when he does the old daddy work thing, you see him wearing the native attire. So I would say that there are other creators also that, they've seen the light, and they are what's it called, they are imbibing this into the creation space, which is really great. Seeing someone that also not do what you do, but seeing someone that kind of like embrace this culture into their content is something that's really amazing.
Wow. Thank you very much for that. So the journey has been quite challenging, but even regardless, you've been trying to blend those two generations together, which is the essence of this meeting.
So I would say that one thing I'll put out is what works for Shade might not work for Lade. So I didn't know that I'm so good with rhymes. But then let me not deviate. What I'm trying to say is this. So far this works for me. It doesn't mean that it will work for every other person. What I'm trying to say is this: if we just kind of like find a balance. Finding a balance might be like the hardest thing. But I'm sure that if you can find it, let's say you want to do a content on 5 things to do as a Lagosian, something like that. So you just make sure that, okay, you know that your audience cut across different backgrounds, and you don't want to start saying that, okay, if you started with Yoruba, thorough Yoruba, you know that, okay, these are the people that you have and you don't want to change, which is fine. But if you started with having like a blend of Yoruba and English together, you cannot just wake up one day and say you want to start with incantations. People would unfollow, because if I watch your content and maybe tomorrow I hear you speaking maybe Hindu or Chinese, and I don't understand it, if after a few times this is the same thing you're continuing with, I will just probably, I know that, okay, maybe I'm not just part of that audience, I'll probably just leave. Just so to retain your people, I would say that just finding the balance, basically. If you can infuse English, just if you want to say, like I said, 5 things to do as being a Lagosian, you can put number 1 and number 2 to be English, number 3 can be Yoruba, number 4 can still be English. Just find a way to just make it work, basically. And if you feel like, okay, you don't want to do it with words, but you still want to put your cultural elements into the content, it could still be with outfits, it could be with setup, it could be with anything, it could be with as little as sound. Those that do this thing understand, those that are into the cinematography editing world, they know that sound elevates content. Do you understand? So it could be as little as sound. So when you put this sound into it, when you are hearing, say, I don't want to mention names, but when you hear these guys that maybe like make cultural sound, make cultural music, and what we're speaking of is Ote, but we are not hearing Ote sound, but instead you are hearing a cultural sound. They will know that people would understand that what you're trying to do is balance with with the old way, the traditional way, and the new way. And that way I'm sure that with that, you would be able to like find a balance with this thing. So just putting it out with words, with outfits, with music, with background, and every other thing. So I would say that technological advancement can be anything. It could be the streaming website. I would say that YouTube, for an instance, it's it's a way where you know that, okay, because I mean there are movies that are being released now that they are cultural-based movie. Like when you get to where from the outfits, the words that they say, and all of these things. I understand that you might not even find this in your environment, but if you are keen on learning or not forgetting your root, And a platform like YouTube, there are other platforms, obviously, streaming platforms that we don't want to give free adverts to. Streaming platforms are out there to help you. There are videos there to make sure, like, help you to make sure that, okay, if you want to really learn about the cultural element, if you do not want to forget your roots, these are places you can watch it. Even music, even like there are music that you can listen to where you know that, okay, this guy is he's a cultured man, this guy is a cultural person, this person understands what culture is, understands what tradition means. So I would say that all of like shows, movies, streaming websites, music are all of these elements that can help one retain or learn more about the roots or the culture in general.